Hi everyone, welcome back to the Castrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin and today we're going to be looking at your July 2025 horoscopes. So this is a tropical Western astrological reading, and you can watch your horoscope for your ascendant sign, your sun and your moon sign as well. If you've only got time to watch one horoscope though, I would start off with your ascendant sign, which is also known as your rising sign. The reason for that is because generally speaking, it does tend to be the most accurate overall. And lastly, I am also on Instagram as well as Facebook, so it's the same handle, which is Castrology, if you want to follow me there. Hi Libra Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your July 2025 horoscope. Let's begin by looking at career and business for you. So your 10th house is super activated this month. Of course, Jupiter is transiting the sign of Cancer in your 10th house for another 11 months yet, but it's also Cancer season as we begin this month. So we have both the Sun and Jupiter here in your 10th house, which can indicate that you are a lot more visible in your career. So this can improve your public reputation. This can lead to a better chance at a promotion or gaining more leadership responsibilities in the workplace. If you own your own business, this is really great for putting yourself out there, whether that is advertising, services, products, or whatever it is that you do for work. So if you are wanting to take a risk in your career, then this might be a time where you want to do that. And that could look like cold calling someone, asking to collaborate with another person, or to even like secure.com or start building a website and plant those seeds and make yourself known. Okay, so on the 5th of July, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Aries in your 7th house at 2 degrees. So with contracts, they may go belly up. Okay, so you may have to go back to the drawing board. Negotiations may not be going in the direction that you're wanting. That doesn't take away from the blessing that is Jupiter in your 10th house together with the Sun. But I just wanted to make you aware that despite having Jupiter and the Sun in the 10th house, it doesn't mean that it's smooth sailing and that people just sign along the dotted line at whatever price you want to charge them. No, there may be a bit of going back and forth if you are trying to do business with another person, bring a new client on board, or renegotiate contracts. All right, so on the 13th of July, Saturn is going to station retrograde in your 7th house at 1 degrees. So this can indicate that you may have to go on a probation period, or there may be a contract renewal period that you are going through, or perhaps you are trying to renegotiate existing contracts. Okay, so Neptune could be affecting the financial side of things, whereas Saturn retrograde could be affecting what's the actual work, what are the conditions, what are the expectations, what's being promised. Okay, so still talking about career and business, there's a lot to speak about on this subject for this month. On the 18th of July, Mercury is going to station retrograde in Leo in your 11th house. So it'll be retrograde there until the 11th of August, and that's from 15 degrees through till 4 degrees. So this can see you rethinking your long-term goals and dreams, maybe having to pivot. There could be collaborations that need to be renegotiated, or perhaps you had spoken with another person about collaborating together, and now that opportunity is coming back online, so to speak. On the 22nd of July, Leo season will begin. So that means that the Sun will be transiting your 11th house. This can see this can see there being a focus on your social media platforms. If you have an audience, if you have a following, you could be garnering more attention. On the 25th of July, there will be a new moon in Leo at 2 degrees, conjunct Mercury retrograde at 13 degrees in your 11th house. Fortunately, it is trining Saturn and Neptune, which I love to see. So new moons are all about a new chapter taking place, a new beginning and whatnot. So you may be basically planting the seeds for a new long-term goal, a new long-term project that you want to work on, maybe looking at opening up a new social media account or profile, or just diversifying your existing social media platforms. So looking at finances and property. Mars is going to be transiting Virgo in your 12th house for the whole of this month, all right? So the full dates are the 17th of June till the 7th of August. Mars rules over your second house, which is Scorpio. So when the ruler of the second house, which represents our finances and resources, goes into the 12th house, we can actually have a lot of expenses. So financially speaking, there may just be a lot of things that you need to pay for. It doesn't mean that it's unpleasant. It could just be like a bit of a blowout, you know? So also with respect to your finances and resources, for the whole first week of the month, Uranus will be at 29 degrees, which is the critical anaretic degree in astrology. So that's in Taurus in your 8th house. The 8th house rules over mutual resources. And on the 4th of July, there'll actually be an exact conjunction between Venus and Uranus. So something with your mutual resources may be coming up for review that is unexpected, as is the nature of Uranus. Okay, so this can be that your significant other's pay may be fluctuating at this time. It doesn't need to be down. It could be like a lump sum of money, you know. On a different note, there could be an inheritance that is coming through for you, or maybe you're made aware of a will and you're sort of taken aback by what's in the will. That can of course cut both ways. So maybe you're included in someone's will and you're like, oh my God, like why me kind of thing. On a different note, you could just be making changes to your mutual resources or financial agreements and arrangements that you have with other people, such as child support money, alimony, spousal support, and so on and so forth. The Mercury retrograde in your 11th house can impact your passive and residual forms of income. Okay, so that can fluctuate. That can be up, that can be down. If you've got crypto money, maybe that's a sudden boon, maybe that's a sudden bust. You know, Mercury retrogrades basically just mean that we're pivoting in one way or another. Rent money may be delayed, or perhaps another way that this could play out is you could be shifting assets around, or you could be appealing a decision that was like court ordered as it relates to damages. Okay, the 11th house is quite a lucky house in astrology. So if you've been waiting on money, then this can come through. If you had applied for a scholarship and maybe you were initially knocked back, then this can indicate that maybe now you are eligible. Or if you had applied for pension money or disability money, disability pension is what I mean to say, then that could be coming through. Or perhaps you're going to have access to your superannuation money. Okay, so just remember that Mercury, the Sun, the new moon in Leo, it's all sextiling you. So that's positive in that way. On the 25th of July, we will have this new moon occur in Leo at 2 degrees. So you may be investing in a new asset, in crypto money, maybe getting investors on board or going into business with another person or agreeing to collaborate with another person. With respect to property, all right, so we've got a full moon in Capricorn at 18 degrees in your 4th house on the 11th of July. Now, full moon energy, new moon energy, it can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before or after the fact. So a full moon in the 4th house, it's 333 right now as I'm recording this, could indicate that you are maybe buying a property, selling, relocating. Maybe someone is moving in with you, maybe someone is moving out with you. This could be the end of a rental contract or agreement. This full moon is trining Mars in Virgo, which is positive for overcoming hurdles and challenges. So look, 18 degrees is the Virgo degree, 13 degrees is the Aries degree. So these are shining spotlight on some kind of conflict or issue, something that's not quite right, but I really think that you're able to resolve that matter. Now, not every single Libra is going to be, buying, selling, moving, da 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 da. This could just indicate that a situation within your home life is being resolved. Maybe that's issues with your flatmate. Maybe that's, repairs that are being done to your property or, the place where you're living. So moving along now, let's have a look at your family life, home life. So Mercury retrograde in your 11th house from the 18th of July onwards could indicate that you're maybe talking again with an older sibling, maybe reconnecting if there'd been a falling out, or maybe you're just catching up after a long period of not speaking. With the full moon in your 4th house, this could see there being an intense family discussion or conversation that takes place, resolving an issue which requires you and someone in your family to navigate new or uncharted territory, such as therapy or conflict resolution, or just considering a new way of relating to one another and really wanting to rebuild your dynamics afresh. On a different note, you may find that you're needing to assert yourself and advocate for yourself and put boundaries in place. So lastly, this could indicate that you may be discovering something about your family or your ancestry and lineage. So the full moon could indicate that there's a revelation taking place or some kind of epiphany. Maybe someone is sharing important information with you about your family. Now moving along to love and relationships. And also friendships. Let's start with friendships actually. Having Mercury retrograde in your 11th house and then Leo season start and then the new moon in your 11th house on the 25th of July is indicating that you may be reconnecting with old friends. There may be a reunion that's taking place. Maybe you are ironing out your differences with a friend and overcoming some kind of obstacle in a friendship or in a friendship group. Okay, this can be a time where you're feeling really popular. Maybe you're hosting events, making new friends, or being invited to participate in group activities. And with the new moon in your 11th house, maybe you are actually joining a new community, or you feel like you have formed a new friendship group, or that could be something that's taking place around the end of the month or moving through into August. Or maybe you're going to look at planning an event for the future which relates to your friends, whether that is doing something together, learning something together, going on a trip, maybe camping or whatever. Looking at love and relationships though, you are going to have Venus and Uranus in Gemini trining you. Okay, so on the 5th of July, Venus is going to move into the sign of Gemini, which means it's going to transit your 9th house, and that is your chart ruler. Okay, so it's very positive for you to have your chart ruler in the 9th house and then trining you. On the 7th of July, Uranus is going to move into your 9th house, and it's also going to be trining you. So this is kickstarting off a new 8-year transit. So basically, the 9th house relates to our belief systems, whether these are political, religious, spiritual, ideological, and the 9th house also relates to higher education and travel and other things as well, but let's start here. So for some of you, this could lead to maybe falling in love with a foreigner or having a romantic experience while you are abroad. In terms of relationships, maybe you are meeting someone through the education system or through your shared beliefs, whether these are spiritual, religious. So you could meet them, for example, like at church or a temple, or through attending some kind of spiritual ceremony. Okay. And For those of you who are in relationships already, this is really positive because Uranus and Venus are going to be trining your 5th house, which relates to love and romance. So this could indicate that you are seeing the bigger picture with your significant other. Maybe you are actually moving the needle forward in your relationship. So the status of your relationship could be progressing at quite a rapid rate, or maybe there's something very unexpected as to the pace of your relationship or the direction that it is going in. Uranus rules over your 5th house, which again relates to love and romance. So maybe there's this consideration of, do we make things exclusive or official? What's in our future? Do we want to start a business together? Do we want to move overseas together or travel the world together? What are our long-term goals or dreams? And so on and so forth. Okay, so in saying all of this, Saturn and Neptune being retrograde in your 7th house can pose certain question marks over your relationship or issues that are here to be resolved. So Neptune retrograde at 2 degrees from the 5th of July onwards can raise questions of, what are we doing with our finances and resources? Are our personal values aligned? And with Saturn retrograde at 1 degrees Aries, this could be a question mark over your commitment to each other. Okay, so maybe one of you wants to have an open relationship and the other person wants to be in a serious relationship, or one of you believes in marriage and the other person doesn't. So, there's a bit of push and pull energy. Yes, Venus and Uranus in the 9th house is very, very positive for love and romance, but it is being offset by these, question marks that Saturn and Neptune are raising in your relationship. So in terms of when are things likely to be resolved, well, first of all, this is a general reading, so just take it as it resonates, but Saturn and Neptune aren't going to be direct until November and December. So maybe things are in a little bit of limbo for the next 6 months. It doesn't have to be, of course. In any case, Libra, if you feel like sharing what's going on in your love life, your romantic life, feel free to drop me a comment. And I also enjoy watching you guys comment on each other's posts. But let's just move it along. We're almost at the end of the reading. So in terms of the miscellaneous section of the reading, Venus and Uranus transiting your 7th house can indicate that there are opportunities here for you to travel, whether that is interstate or abroad. Legal matters may arise and it could come up quite out of the blue. There could be some kind of serious shift in terms of your belief systems. So that could be political, religious, ideological. You may be faced with some kind of moral dilemma. On a different note, you could be experiencing a breakthrough and releasing old pain or wounds or traumas, especially ones that are connected to your inner child. Okay, so, and I say that because Uranus rules over the 5th house. So you could be reconnecting with your inner child and just feeling like you have more access to joy and happiness and fun and also faith, right? You will have Mars in Virgo in your 12th house for the whole month, and it will be forming a conjunction with the South Node here around the 20th of July. So the 12th house is very much a hidden house in astrology. It relates to our fears, our insecurities, but it's also a deeply spiritual house. So having Mars and the South Node here together can indicate that old issues may be rising to the surface, whether that's fears, insecurities, addictions and so on. But the conjunction with the South Node can actually help you to release these, to overcome self-sabotaging behaviors, to understand the root cause of why you may be exhibiting behaviors that you are trying to eliminate or eradicate. Okay, so it actually is a really great time for healing, spiritual development, yoga, meditation, and so on and so forth. So Libra, that's all I have for you for your July horoscope. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, Libra, and I will see you guys in my next video.